Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening. Oh dear. Okay. Yes, this is me, Sheraton, back. I'm very sorry. I thought I had scheduled for 9:20. Even so, I'm still late. I'm just waiting for Brett to come through now. He'll be coming through very shortly. And we can get moving. All right. Okay, tonight's show, we're going to discuss water. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now. It's been about a year. Ever since the Oceanus Titanic, Titan Oceanus, I think it's called. I think it's called Titan Oceanus. Anyway, ever since that took place, I have been thinking, and I did want to do a reading, but because of everything that happened, and it was such a terrible tragedy, I yeah, I wasn't sure if I should actually do the reading at that time. Furthermore, um, there was there was sorry, I'm just bringing it up on my phone. Oceanus. Um, yeah, tragedy. I'm just bringing it up on my phone to make sure. Um, this Titan submersible. That's it. The Titan submersible implosion. Ocean Gate. It was called. Yeah, I believe this one was called. Was it? It was from a company called Ocean Gate. However, it was formerly known as Cyclops. Yeah, the Ocean Gate. Yeah. Okay. Um. Right. I did very little preparation for this video. Two reasons. One, I do know a bit about Greek mythology, so knowing a bit about Greek mythology, knowing a bit about the Titan Oceanus, where we get the name for ocean from, I had a different perspective from other people. Now, oh, good, Brett's here. Lovely. Let's bring him in. Add to stage. Lovely. Okay. Hello, darling. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, good. Good. Good, good. It's lovely to see your face, as always.
We're wearing the same color.
Oh, well.
Like brick red.
Yes, 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 we are. Yes, we are. Um, yeah, I was just telling everybody about today's show, giving them a bit of a background on it, because I know I'm coming at this from a different perspective, and a lot of people were reading on it last year, and the question last year was, were there people who were in the submersible still alive, etc., etc.? Are they able to rescue them? Obviously, a
Mhm.
year on from now, we know that that didn't happen, and we've got more of an idea of what did happen. But I looked at it through more of an esoteric, metaphysical lens with an understanding of Greek mythology, which most readers who read on it In fact, no readers who read on it even mentioned anything about Greek mythology. That's okay. No, that's all right. You're having a moment. Oh dear.
I, the water went down the wrong tube. I think that's kind of symbolic.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Um, yeah, so yeah, nobody had that perspective when they were reading on it, which what I found unfortunate, because I feel that they would have been able to get a lot of information or view things in maybe a different way, but at the same time people read the way they read, and it's not up to me to decide as to whether to say, oh, you're reading it wrong. No, it's that's not up to me to do that. People look at things through a different perspective, which is perfectly acceptable as far as I'm concerned. um, but my perspective is different. For starters, when that incident happened last year, and this is a year anniversary on from the tragedy. When that incident happened last year, I immediately, sorry, excuse me, my nose is playing up a little bit. Gosh, what's in there? No, I don't want that. I immediately felt like it felt like, all right, I don't want to offend anybody. For me, it felt like, duh, what did you think was going to happen? That's immediately what I had in my head when I heard about it. Now, the reasons why I felt that way, excuse me, the reasons I felt that way was, number one, the submersible was looking at the going to the depths of the ocean, the deepest parts of the ocean that man can go currently. Um, and a very dangerous part of the ocean. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't push boundaries or try to go and do what's never been done before and discover new places or anything like that. But obviously, going to that part of the ocean is dangerous, and safety is a major concern. But also, but also, they went to the site of where many people died, hundreds of people died. So that place is a graveyard. And the spirits of those whose remains are theirs don't particularly want to be a show for anyone, you know? So there was that. But the big hit that I got, the big hit was the name Titan. And it immediately brought me to the Titan Oceanus. Now, many of you might not know much about Greek mythology, but this is where I'm going to go off in my little nerd brain. Oceanus, original Greek god, Greek mythology, he was a Titan. The Titans were the first gods that the Greeks had. They were supposed to be the ones who created the world and everything. They were overthrown by the Olympians, which was headed up by Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. I'm using the Greek names. Oceanus was the son of Uranus and Gaia, and he was he was of the same, say, like in the same, I believe he was of the same generation as Zeus. and Hades, but maybe not the same generation. But anyway, long story short, they had a war. The Olympians won. He was the original god of the sea. However, Oceanus, unlike many of the other Titans, did not fight against the Olympians. He just wanted to stay out of it. He wanted to keep to himself. He was always enigmatic as a character. He sent his children, though, some of his children fought on the sides of the Olympians. You will ask, why on earth am I talking about Greek mythology? It's important. Please listen. The fact that they named this submersible after a Titan and they decided to go into the ocean. I'm sure they called it Oceanus, but they went into the ocean where the Titanic had sunk. They named a ship at the Titanic, a Titan, sailing on Poseidon's waters. Duh. And then, if that wasn't enough, when the Poseidon made his feelings known that this wasn't a great idea, they decided to bring a submersible that's like a cola can to those depths. And then, what happened. So it was almost as if the ocean was saying, no, you can't. No, you can't. I don't like this. I don't want this. And no, you can't. And then they go into the realm of Oceanus. And the realm of Oceanus is still the deep, deep, deep water. A god who does not want to be disturbed and does not want to be bothered. Not by humans, anyway. And there's another thing, an important thing that Lamar Townsend, a fellow YouTuber, please check him out. He does a fantastic read on Lake Lanier. And where I was getting some major hits. And I'm not going to go into his reading here because he's going to do a part 2 and I don't want to spoil his part 1 for anyone at all. Please, I beg, go watch that. It was really good. But I got some hits on that one. And I'm saying nothing because Lamar's going to do a part 2. And I'm sure that some of the hits that I got, he's going to be bringing that up probably in the part 2. I'm sure it's going to happen. But anyway, he did say a very important point, though, that I want to make when I spoke about the spirits of those who had passed in the original Titanic disaster. They don't want to be bothered. It goes deeper than that, though, because Brett and we had a conversation earlier, and Brett has meditated on this. So I'm sure he's got some things, because we've all got our gifts. We've all got different gifts, and Brett's got his gifts that are different from my gifts and so on and so forth. But he said something really important. He said, the water remembers. Water remembers. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but there were some studies done, I think a couple decades ago. A Japanese guy, Kurisawa, I can't remember. Anyway, this doctor, Japanese doctor. Sorry, my phone's gone off. Sorry about this. Cola, I'm live, darling. I'm live. Bye. I'm so sorry, everybody. I was not expecting that. I think I'm gonna have to put the phone on mute. Okay. All right then. Yeah. So
Well,
um
shout out to Carla, our sister, the Kinky
yeah,
Witch, here on YouTube.
Cola. Yeah, the Kinky Witch. Yes, another YouTuber, who's a friend of mine. Anyway, so right, what was I saying? Yes, this Japanese guy, he did some studies on water, and he found that water can not only take on your energy, if you speak into it and you breathe into it with your intentions. Also, water can read. You're thinking this is crazy. No, water can read. Okay. If you put on the side of a bottle or a jar or whatever receptacle words of love, nurture, growth, words of affirmation, it changes the energy of the water. This is not just some esoteric metaphysical thing. This is science. They did a study where they put words of hate and words of love. And I mean words around hate and all that kind of thing, and words of love. And they put them on the side of the jars. And I think they put rice in the jar or something. And they looked at those jars in a controlled environment, exactly the same every day. They checked them and they noticed that the words of hate that were written on that jar, mold came very, very quickly. And decay and mold came very, very quickly, and it was in a really, it looked disgusting inside the jar. But the jar that had words of love and were positive affirmations, positivity, the water in those jars, it took a lot longer for it to become moldy and disgusting and horrible to look at. So water can read. So that's a major thing when it comes to water. It stores energy, it remembers, and it can read. So when you look at something like the Titan Oceanus and what happened to that submersible, as well as the Titanic, you have to say to yourself, was the water angry with the name that they gave it? Did it feel a way about the name that was given to these vessels? And the conclusion I came to very quickly was absolutely yes, it does. Do I believe in the Greek not gods? Not to worship, but I think that they are entities. And I think that Poseidon might be a bit peeved that, you were throwing someone who, well, wasn't exactly an enemy, because obviously they embody the same space to some extent. While not exactly an enemy, isn't exactly a friend either. But hey, that's just my metaphysical, maybe slightly nerdy head on this particular topic. But if you take nothing else away from this, water remembers. And I know Brett has something that he wants to say right now, because right now, this is the first part of our doing our thing where we're talking about the impressions, I suppose almost like a channeling to some extent, and the information that we kind of got. So I'm going to hand this over to Brett because I know he's got some things to say.
So yes, one of the main things that I got very strongly was, as Sheraton said, the water remembers, and I kept hearing it over and over and over again. And um, as I was meditating, I could see. Well, first of all, I saw a lot of the positive things about water. There's a lot of the beautiful things about water. There's a lot of the good that it does. But I was also brought to the polar ice caps and the way that those are melting. And remember, snow and ice is water, and it reacts in the same way that an ocean does. If we're talking about just an ocean, you got to remember there's streams, there's brooks, there's lakes, there's rivers. The rivers lead into the ocean, and there's rain and evaporation, and all this stuff contributes right to the same element, which is water. And so, and also another thing that came to me is how old water is. Um, it's like if water, like the wisdom of water, right? Um, if you think about it, back in the, I don't know, beginning of time, there was water on this planet and on, I believe, other planets as well. And the the wisdom in which water um, affects uh, affects the planet is something that was something that I was picking up very strongly on. Now, as far as the the accident that Sheraton's talking about, the Titan, the water remembers, and um, the Titanic has been seen or has been viewed in ways that is sort of like a zoo. The way that you would view um, an attraction at a carnival or a zoo, and um, the water um, that that tragedy occurred in, remembering the tragedy, um, is and was offended by the hubris of the name and also of just the concept of um, going down there with um, a lack of respect. That's another thing that came very strongly, and something that I've always felt is the need to respect the ocean. And um, I know for me, every time that I would step foot into the ocean or any body of water, I always would talk to the water and let it know that it had my respect and that I knew that I was not somewhere that I was belong. You know, we don't have gills, and so when we need to be more what's the word um, more aware of the fact that when we place ourselves in water, that we're basically traveling to another planet. In a way, it's not our planet. It's not our. We're meant to be on land. We're land mammals, and we're not meant to be in the water. And it's a thing of disrespect to just assume that the water is yours for the taking, or yours for the having, or yours for the entertainment. Um, and um, yeah, I feel as far in terms of the Sheraton, what's the name of it again? The Titan Ocean,
Oh, yes, the Titan Oceanus. That's
the
that particular Titan's
Oceanus.
name.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Titan Oceanus. It was like it was a huge, like if it was a person, it was like a huge slap in the face because it was like just again the hubris of just going down without, you know, an invitation, right? Or or any kind of self-awareness or respect for not only the crash site but also where they were going and where they were headed. It's almost like you have to say, like you said, when you speak, you can speak into your water, and the water can vibrate with that, and it can read, and it can hear, and it remembers.
Mm, yeah.
So that's a lot of
Um,
what I got. Yeah, a lot about the respect.
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a lot about the respect, and as you say, the water remembers, and it's not even so much an invitation. It's more because, like, to be honest, I personally don't want an invitation to the bottom of the ocean. Thank you very much. I'm just saying, maybe that's me, but I personally don't really want that invitation. Um, it's like when you go there, you only go there one time. You're not supposed to leave. I'm sorry. You go and you're not supposed to leave. But this comes back to the memory of water and looking at different places and where things have occurred. Now, and the thing is as well, we have an issue. We have an issue with water, I'm thinking, but I'm going to consult the cards on this one because I'm sure the cards have got something to tell us in regards to it, because this isn't just, I know I've started, like, the last half hour has pretty much been about the whole situation that happened last year. But I felt that it had to be in context because that we needed to contextualize this, because that's just another example of what can happen when people's hubris comes into play. And instead of having reverence for what was lost, they see it as an opportunity to exploit. Nothing wrong with making money, but this was an opportunity to exploit. Okay, they wanted to exploit by, taking some money from some very rich people. Because what do you give a rich man, a man who can buy practically everything? You give him an experience that few can get. However, in this case, the exploitation was not just of the super rich, the exploitation was also of a graveyard, a graveyard, and a major disrespect to all who ended up there. So as well as the whole kind of thing as well with the water being able to read and water being able to remember, the whole thing was just mm, 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 mm. Anyhow, so that's to one side. But I want to talk as well about water in general, because there's a major things are happening with water at the moment. In this country, we've been having major issues because the water companies, which the government decided to privatize, have not been acting with due diligence and care. They have been ripping off the consumer, um, and taking all their profits and giving it to their shareholders instead of investing in the infrastructure of the waterways. This has resulted in them flushing effluent, raw sewage into our rivers, lakes, and seas. So, where people would go fishing on the canal or fishing to a local river, people don't want to do that anymore because those fishes, if they're still alive, have been living and eating. That's what they've been doing. People who like to swim in lakes and um and rivers and sea, wild swimming, a lot of those people have been getting really sick because of the raw sewage that they're swimming through. I mean, really disgusting, really atrocious. Because normally what happens is the water goes through the pipes, it goes to the pumping station, and they have special filters in the reservoirs and they clean the water. And even like if they've got like too much water in there, it goes back into the seas and back into the rivers. So the water's always flowing. Unfortunately, because they haven't been cleaning it, because they've been penny pinching on the chemicals that are used to clean the water and the filtration, it hasn't been happening. And on top of that, I think it was last week, there was a major health warning where a part of the country, I think it was in the north, maybe northeast, I can't remember exactly where in the country, but people were told, warned, do not drink the tap water. Do not drink the tap water because some people got sick from drinking tap water. And they found that there was a particular microbe or something in the water that made people violently ill. And it was only picked up because the person was sick and went to hospital, and the hospital checked them, and that's how they found out. So it's like they haven't even been doing proper tests on the water. So there's all these things that are happening with water right now. Water will be the new oil. In the 21st and 22nd century, water is fast becoming the new oil. Wars will be fought over water, big time. Wars will be fought over water, and water will become the new oil. Okay, I just got that. I literally just got that just now. Okay. Spirit, is there anything else you'd like me to add to this? Or do you want me to start pulling cards? What do you want me to do? Okay. Okay. The feeling I got is there's more to come and I need to start pulling cards. So Brett, I mean, how do you feel about what I've said?
Well, I think you're spot on. There's a clean water crisis. Is you think it's for third world countries, but we have Flint, Michigan over here, that still is having a water crisis. Um, we have plenty of other places that don't have clean drinking water, and um, it's not really talked about much on mainstream media. Um, and as you said, there was a boil alert, and I know here in Florida, where I live, we get that quite often, and I myself am scared of drinking tap water, so I don't do it. um, just because there's been so many um, bacteria and things that have shown up in water, the tap water specifically. And I remember I saw a video. Um, I can't remember when it was or where it was, but someone was trying to show off how dirty their tap water was. So they ran the tap and they took a lighter and they held it to the stream of water and it caught on fire.
What?
That's how dirty the water was. I don't know what was in it to make it explode like that. Like I don't know what would cause it to do that. I mean, gasoline's one thing, but could have been like lead maybe or something like that. But yeah, so ever since I
Wow.
saw that video, I've just been even more against tap water. Like I don't even like brush my teeth with tap water, to be honest with you.
Oh wow, really? It's that bad, eh?
It's scary, yeah, because I don't. When you think of infrastructure, I think water is an infrastructure that is ignored and doesn't isn't considered.
Yeah, and it should be. It really should be because let's be honest here. Water is life. Water is life.
Right, exactly.
Hold on, let's see how many cards because I'm just putting cards as I'm doing this. Um, I don't want to be here. How many cards? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's good. All right. Yeah, so I'm just putting cards as you're talking. I asked, I was like, Spirit, what do you want to tell us about water and our interaction with water? How is our interaction going with water? Um, okay. How does water feel about the way we interact with it? Okay. How does water feel about the way we interact with it? Okay. Just here pulling cards. Yeah, right. Okay. Right, those are my archetype cards. Okay. Because to be honest with you, at this point, the way I'm feeling right now, it's almost as if water has a sentience. Water has a sentience. Okay.
What do you mean by that?
It's water is aware. It has
Okay.
it has cognition.
Hmm.
It's almost as if water has cognition, which sounds crazy, I know. But we are, is it 90% made up of water or something like that? Yeah. Without water, we aren't here. Without water, there's not really much life anyway. Water is life. That's the thing that keeps on coming into my head. But it's as if water is conscious. Okay, the card just flew out. Okay, that card flew out. I wasn't expecting that. And as soon as I said water is conscious, the card flew out. So I'm just going to take that as is. Um, yeah, because no other cards flew out of this deck. Okay, so I don't know, Brett. Have you pulled?
I'm just shuffling now.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, as you're shuffling, I'm going to let you crack on, and I'm going to start reading because I'm aware that we're 41 minutes in, and I've
Okay.
spent so much time talking. Okay. All right then. I'm just going to solo. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So the questions I asked, I was wondering, how does water feel about our interactions with it? Tonight I am using my Caroline Miss deck, the archetype deck. There you go, archetype cards. And I'm also using the Light Seers Oracle. Light Seers Tarot, not the Light Seers Oracle. Um, I'm you also. Lastly, I'm using this one, Oracle of Ascendance. When I asked about the consciousness of water, a card flew out. So I'm going to look at that last probably. Um, yeah, before Brett does his. Okay, right. First cards I've got. Right, this is from the archetype deck. I've no idea what these cards are. So I asked, how does the water feel about us and our relationship to it? Look at that. Healer. Water heals. Water heals. Second card, guide. It wants to guide us. Oh. I also asked, how does water feel about us and our interaction with it? Wow. Um, wow. Uh, I'm speechless. Okay. These three cards together. We have healer. The light attributes is a passion to serve others by repairing the body the mind, and the spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. I hope you can read that. Okay, second card, guide, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. So, water is life, water is a gift from the divine to the living. Slave, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Water surrenders to those who use it. Water surrendered to divine, water surrendered to us with complete trust. So those are the light attributes. The shadow attributes here. Taking is healer, taking advantage of those who need help and failing to care for oneself. So it's like the water has failed to care for itself against us. The shadow attribute of guide places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. People exploiting the water and control over water for financial gain and to some extent spiritual insight. Not as in this is a pleasurable activity, let's go sailing, let's appreciate the beauty of the sea or the river or something like that. More like let's not clean the water, let's poison the environment because we want to make money and we don't want to spend on the chemicals that are necessary to clean the water. Slave, shadow attribute, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. You know what all of this is giving me right now? All these disasters that are happening at sea. It's the water fighting back. Tsunami, the Boxing Day tsunami. Yes, the earthquake, and that's involved. There's no denying that. But water's fighting back. Water is feeling abused and it's fighting back. Sorry, Brett, did you want to say something? Okay. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me go on with the tarot. Okay. Right, let's see what the tarot has to say on this subject. All right, Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands is looking out across the water. Of course, this card had to come up. The Three of Wands is crossed by the Five of Swords. So there is, okay, our interaction with the water, looking out across the water, looking out for opportunity. looking out for opportunities, crossed by abuse and exploitation. The beginning of the base of the reading is death and rebirth. In the past, Page of Pentacles. Crowning the reading, the Magician. And the near future, the Four of Swords. Okay. The fact that there are two major arcana, and I've only picked up 6 cards so far. There's another major arcana, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's very telling. Very, very telling. This is about how we take care of our planet and ourselves. This affects the way society is structured. This affects humanity's evolution and our future. First question I asked is, how does water feel about our relation? Is what? Tell me about our relationship with water. So, whilst there is an element of us having an appreciation of water aesthetically and the value that especially people in coastal communities have for water, they look upon it, they gaze upon it with longing, the mystery of it. But there is an abuse taking place here. So it's the appreciation of its presence as well as its abuse. There is a rethinking, rebirth, our relationship with water. Something has to end for something new to begin. Okay. Major droughts. It's like it wants to go away and teach us a lesson. Because it feels abused. Just going to double check this one, Page of Pentacles. Pages are messengers. So there's something here about the body, I think. Pages are messengers. Studiousness. Small financial. Okay. Okay. This is about education. This is about education. All right. Okay. I'm seeing something is going to die for something to be reborn. So in the past, people have had an awareness and they have educated themselves on certain aspects of water. This, whilst it's in the past, or should I say, in the past, people recognized water in a way that we don't today, the intrinsic value of it. And when I say we, I'm talking about us in the developed world, because those who live in the developing world, who don't have access to running water in their homes 24/7, have an appreciation of water on a level that many of us in the developed world don't. And instead of us having the appreciation that we have access to it, as well as the appreciation that water is life and it needs to be respected, because when you give somebody water, you're giving them a life force. If the water is poisoned or contains toxins or other microorganisms that are antithetical to health, you are in effect killing that person or you are causing them deep harm. So there is that knowledge that is out there. However, crowning the reading, I see big change and big upheaval. This, there is a manipulation, but this crowns the reading. And notice the magician as he is pouring into and receiving from the water. She is pouring into, he, she, whoever, pouring into and receiving from the water. It's like one half of an infinity symbol. One half of an infinity symbol. So the water is flowing out of her into the depths of the water, and the water is flowing up to her. So this is a loop. It's one half of the infinity symbol. This is important. Now, why did I say I see a major drought? Four of Swords, retreat, a stepping back. Okay, so I'm seeing here so far from what I've pulled, a major drought, it will take place. And it will take place not so much in the developing world, but in the developed world. Where already, I think I was watching some documentary somewhere about the water table having dropped in certain places. There's less water than there used to be. So there's going to be a major thing with drought. There'll be less water than there used to be. Or should I say, water's going to go away and have a break. It's not water all over the planet, don't misunderstand me, but it's like there won't be so much rainfall. And it's like the water is going to just go underground to take some time out and be like, you know what, you don't appreciate me, so I'm going off. So it's going to be going to places that either it doesn't really go. Places that don't tend to get a lot of rainfall will be getting more rainfall. Places that are used to getting more rainfall will be getting less rainfall. And the reservoirs where we keep the water will be lowered. Okay. Now, I did ask the question. I asked, right, what is our future looking like with our interaction with water? Secrets under the water, the moon. What does the moon mean in this? Eesh. Sorry. Um, Seven of Wands. Sorry, I'm just here making my face because I just got something and yeah. Um okay. Right, the Star card. Wow. There are so many major arcana here. This is big, guys. This is big. Okay, Two of Cups. That's the outcome card. All right. Okay. There's some of this is already known. Some of the things I've spoken about already. I think that there are people in places of authority are aware. I mean, scientists. Okay, scientists. Scientists are aware, especially those. Yeah, scientists are aware that water remembers. But the ones that are aware are not necessarily putting their understanding and knowledge into use. And there's something else here. You know what? I'm just going to say it. When the water begins to recede from certain places, people are going to see certain things that they have been told are a load of hogwash and don't exist. And part of the fight back from water will be for creatures that live in the water. Creatures that live in the water. People, straight up, I'm just going to tell you, there are there are conscious beings who live in the water, and I'm not just talking about animals. There there is a civilization under the waters. Not everywhere, not in every place, but in some places. And yeah, they ain't happy either because we put so much crap into the sea. We're literally polluting their environment. The land is for us, but the water's for them, and we're polluting their environment. Yeah, they're pissed. And yes, people in authority do actually know about them. Um, what's happening in mind? People don't want to change their minds. People want to stay exactly as they are. They think that they can live life exactly as they've always lived life, and they don't get it. However, I'm looking at this Seven of Wands, and yeah, Seven of Wands, conflict. What did I say? Seven of Wands, conflict, conflict. There will be wars fought over water. I'm going to read you what the book says. A situation of conflict is coming to a head. This is in the mind. The mind. How will our relationship with water proceed? In the mind, a war. Yeah. Confrontation, challenge, and opposition. Yeah. I don't even need to go any further. A war. There will be a war over water. and water will make war upon us. Okay. Um, Now the concern. The concern is going to be hope. Hope is the concern. We will have to rely on our intuition and inner wisdom, and water doesn't want to hurt us, it doesn't want to harm us. It's healed us, it's been our guide, it's life, it's inside us, it's outside of water's a part of us, and we are a part of the water. And we need to honor that relationship. We have not been doing so. But in time, I believe we will. And as an outcome card, Two of Cups. Two of Cups. And notice is people holding hands and they are pouring into what? They are pouring into water. So to me, it's like we're saying, yes, we are part of you and you are part of me. We are part of you and you are part of me. Without you, there is no me. But without you, there is no me. So there has to be a joining. There has to be a joining between us and water, a mutuality. So that is my reading. I asked the question: Is I said water's conscious, and what did I get? Mercury. Mercury is the planet that rules the third sign of the zodiac and the sixth. And Mercury is the planet of cognition, the planet of the mind, quick thinking, and the planet of the mind. Mercury, Mercury, Mercury. Just bringing that up quickly. Mercury. I'm going to be very quick because Brett needs to come on, and I've been on for an hour. And as you can hear, my voice is croaky because I've been talking so much. Okay, 57. Let's see. Okay, right. The winged messenger, fastest moving planet, much like water. Water can move super fast. Water, you communicate with water. Critical thought, intellectual reasoning, adaptability. Water. Is water conscious? Absolutely. And when it's ready to move, it will move. And it also grants clarity. All right, I'm going to turn over to Brett. Brett, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Cool. All right, so now it's back to Brett. Okay, going to showcase Brett. No, solo. Cool. All right, Brett, go.
All right. So I pulled from the Sacred Destiny by Denise Lynn. I don't have the box, but here's the booklet. The box looks like this. I pulled from the Sacred Destiny Oracle. And interestingly, the very first card I got was Voyage. So we know, obviously I had in mind the Oceanus um, voyage that took place. I had in mind the Titanic. I had in mind all of the voyages that ships constantly are taking in the ocean and in the water. And also, the the voyages that the sea life take um, throughout the breeding season, excuse me, uh, when they go north and south and everything. This is a traveling card, but also not just for humans, but for species in the water. Um, I got the card of stillness. Um, I feel like this is definitely a yield, like a slow down kind of moment. Um, it's a card where there's actually snow and ice in this card as well. So when you think of a bird or you think of the cold, you slow down, right? It's time to hibernate and to relax and cool down a little bit. Not cool down because you're already cold, but cool down in terms of your pace and everything. In terms of water, um, I'm hearing calm before the storm. So right now, there may be a stillness, but there may be some water events coming. I got flexibility, and that reminded me of the way that water is flexible. If you think about it, it can bend and move and contort in any sort of position because it's malleable, it's water, and it's shapeless. So you can move it into any shape. But I also got it's time for um, humans to kind of bend and yield a little bit and be a little bit flexible when it comes to the ocean, the water, their 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 intaking of it, not drinking, but intaking and enjoying it and stuff like that. Um, I got taking risks. So the thing that comes to mind with taking risks is the risk and the reward that you take when you uh, go into the water. Um, Obviously, we've seen. Um, by the way, I just thought of something. I'm sorry. Um, I just got a hit to something. Orcas have no known attack against humans in the wild. I'm going back to the voyage card quickly because there's whales on it. And Sheraton had said something about the ocean fighting back. And there's been reports of orcas attacking boats. So I just wanted to bring that back real quick because I just heard it and I just wanted to mention that because I didn't even think about that. Um, anyway, taking risks. Yeah, so you're taking a risk anytime you step into like when you're not in your own lane, you're taking a risk, and you need to appreciate that it is a risk and what is the reward that you're getting out of it. If is the reward just so you can go and say I came, I saw, I conquered? Because if so, that's not what the ocean's for, and it's making it kind of clear that it doesn't appreciate that mindset. But I did get the card of pleasure. Now, there is a pleasurable thing about water, right? There's a reason that we find it calming. Not when we're deep in the Mariana Trench or anything, but when you stand next to moving water, it releases negative ions, and you breathe those in, and it goes into your bloodstream, and that is a deep source of relaxation and contentment, and that's something that, and I mean any form, any moving water, rushing water, so like the waves crashing on the beach, a pond or a stream trickling down, a waterfall, um, all those things bring in feelings of pleasure. And water doesn't want you to forget that while it can be dangerous and while it can be, all those things, it's still, its main purpose is here to help us. That being said, I got the card of security. Um, Water is infinite. Um, like I said, it's ancient. It's been around for since the beginning of time, and it will protect itself. And um, I also, when I pulled this card, I got a hit to. This is a cave here, so I got a hit, especially with the ancient drawing here, or like a hieroglyph type drawing. I got a hit to like secret passages. I don't know what that means, but it was like secret. The way Sheridan said that there's not just animal life in the ocean, but that there's there's more in there. And again, we know more about space than we do about the ocean. And the ocean's only as big as our planet. Yet we know more about space. So that's what I got from the Oracle. Um, Sheridan, do you have any comments before I go into the tarot?
Um, I think you, I think you pretty much, you brought up some really interesting things about the orcas, and hopefully everyone can hear me. I don't know if everyone can hear me. I think
Mm-hmm.
I hope so. Yeah, you brought up something about the orcas, which I thought was important. Um, Orcas only tend to attack humans when they're in captivity. Funny
Mm-hmm.
enough, I was watching a program about that recently, and they tend to attack out of frustration because they're being kept in at captivity, and it's like, you want me to perform for you. You want me to do this trick for you. I want that fish in your hand. Why are you playing with me? Why are you deliberately going out of your way to annoy me? Give me the fish. You got a whole bucket over there. I can smell it. I want that fish. So, and why don't orcas eat people? Orcas don't eat people because we're not nutritionally dense enough for them to eat us. So that's one of the reasons they don't eat us. Also, I think we're too salty. Yeah. Both metaphorically speaking, you know, and also actually we're a bit too salty. So they don't particularly want to eat us. But they also have a habit of wherever the orca's from, those are the cultures and the rules that they live by. So, in some cultures, when I say cultures, I'm talking about geographical locations where they're mostly found. The culture of those particular pods is to eat certain things and not certain other things. So, in some parts of the globe, they will eat certain types of fish, and certain types of creatures. For example, the ones who live in, I think, the North Sea or near the Arctic, uh, or something like that, they eat seals, right? But if they come across a penguin, not that you'll find a penguin in some of those places, they won't eat the penguin. They'll eat the seals. And in other places, they'll eat the penguin. But yeah, orcas are they also have their own culture, you know. And I think there was also something about their language, that their language is slightly different in different geographical locations. Yeah, I think there was something about that as well. But generally speaking, no, they don't attack humans. In fact, in some parts of the world, they've been known to save humans and stop them from drowning. So, yeah, some of them are more shy than others. But yeah, I thought it was really important the point that you brought up about orcas. Um, and for them to be attacking boats, there's only certain parts of the globe where they tend to attack boats. But even so, those boats are polluting their waters. Orcas are not stupid, they're very intelligent creatures. They'll be aware that the stink that they're smelling is coming from that boat. So, yeah, yeah, I thought that was really interesting. And also what you said when it in regards to the pleasure that people get from water. It's like I had a shower. It was lovely. Yes, I was scrubbing, I was doing my spiritual cleanse and whatever. It was lovely, but I really enjoyed the feeling of the water running over me. And water is healing. It's here to heal us. It's been a guide to human civilization. We were able to have settlements, even though there were small settlements, because of water, because water is life. So, yeah, I thought that you covered that really well. But anyway, I'm going to let you continue with your tarot read. Are you ready to go with the tarot?
I'm ready.
Okay, cool. I'll let you go with that then.
Okie dokie. Well, I used an untraditional tarot deck, but it felt appropriate. It's called, I don't, it didn't come with a box because at the time I bought it, it was just a very small indie deck on Etsy, but it's called the Flow Tarot. I can show you the back though. The back looks like that. It's all water themed. For instance, here's an example. Here's an example. All the cards are water themed, and I just wanted to play with them a little bit. Now I I'm going to try not to apply the typical tarot meaning, but use the meaning that these cards are intending. But I won't be able to help myself. I feel like in some parts to draw on the traditional meaning of the card. So, for instance, the first card I got was the Eight of Waves. Now, the Waves suit in this deck is the same as the Wands in the traditional tarot. So this would be the Eight of Wands, right? So moving swiftly and everything like that. But the key word on here is synchronicity, and you've got all the fish moving as one. And crossing that is the Page of Snow. The snow is the swords in this instance. So the Page of Swords, and the keyword here is emerge. I'm not sure what that meant, but when you cross synchronicity with emerge, the emergence of um, something is the emergency of something, whatever this card is breaking up the synchronicity or hindering the synchronicity of the sea life of the ocean. At the base of the pack, I have the Two of Waves. Again, this is the Wands card. And by the way, apropos, I got this deck wet with water. So you will see some tears and stuff because unfortunately they got stuck together and I need to get a new deck. But the Two of Waves is surging power at the base of the deck. So it's it's that awe inspiring power. You see the curling wave here of the at the beach, you know, in the ocean, and um, it's showing it's peacocking. It's reminding me of like a peacock, you know, showing off its feathers. Like the water is like really showing who's boss. And like I said, anytime that I enter the beach or step foot into a body of water, I'm very quick to pay my respects and to thank the water for allowing me to be a part of it. And I think more people should be like that because this is surging power. Now, in the recent past position, I have the Hangman. In this deck, it's called the Floating One. It's a cute little frog, even though I'm terrified of frogs. But it says Between Worlds. And that goes back to what I said earlier about the ocean almost being another planet, or if you can think about it that way, being another, or hmm, as I said, we know more about space than we do about the ocean. So it's if we're between worlds, then there's go ahead.
I was going to say it's like it's another realm,
Right, another
another
realm.
realm of existence.
Yeah, between
Yeah,
worlds. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, if you want to pop in at any time, by the way, feel free. Because I'm just reading these cards and trying to think of what they're trying to say. Because I did ask the question, by the way, I meant to tell you. Sorry. I asked the question what energy and what warnings the ocean or the energy of water wanted to communicate with us. So I asked a slightly different question, but it's along the same line. Um, Now, crowning the reading, I have the Empress, the abundant source. And again, here's that running water that I talked about with the negative ions going into your bloodstream as you inhale. And the abundant source, like water is, like I said, it's just infinite. And of course, I'm not talking about like where it stops on land and stuff. I'm talking about in timelines. It lasts forever. Now, we're not talking about drinking water. We're not talking about that issue. We're talking about the ocean in general. So it's interesting that the Empress is crowning the reading. So she's sitting right on top. Right below is the two of waves, the surge in power. So you've got these two energies kind of aligned but opposed.
Yeah, I noticed that. The infinity symbol kept on reoccurring in my
Mhm.
reading.
Yeah.
I kept on seeing infinity symbols. So yeah, I get that.
Um, in the I don't even want to say the near future. I almost didn't do a Celtic cross because I felt like I didn't know how I was going to read it with these cards. But in the near future, um, again, this card's torn, so excuse that. It's a very beautiful deck. I'm not highlighting it to its potential. But this is the Three of Wands, which is the Pentacles in traditional tarot. And the keyword is blending energies. So, blending, coming together, blending. Three of Pentacles is about working together, isn't it?
Yes, yes, it's about collaborations.
Right,
Um, and it's interesting that yeah, the Three of Pentacles is about collaboration, wise minds coming together to work
right.
to a goal that unites them. Yeah.
Right. So here in the uh, future position, the Three of Wands, blending energies, and I feel like that's like the energies of hmm. Let me see. I'll have you look at the card while I think on it. Earth and water, blending energies.
Yeah. Are those trees?
Those are trees, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little
Yeah, it's
island in the middle
yeah,
of a valley.
yeah. It's the island in the middle of the valley and where earth meets water.
Yeah,
And I think it's very similar to the outcome I got, which was the Two of Cups, which talks about mutuality.
yeah. hmm
Yeah.
So blending energies. Well, let's see what it leads into. So in the mind, but since I'm talking about water, um, what water is saying to me is the Ten of Snow, which is the Ten of Swords, which in the normal tarot would be scary, right? For the water to be thinking that. But in this deck, it says perspective and it's icicles, right? And the great thing about this deck, by the way, is that it has rain, clouds, snow, water animals. It's got all kind of represents all kinds of water. So we have the perspective here, and if we put everything into perspective, um, the Ten of Snow is is forming, and I say forming because it's icicles, right? So let's see. Following that, I have the Six of Snow, which is the Six of Swords, which is usually moving on to calmer waters. This says when to fly, so know when to sink, know when to fly, know when to sink, know when to swim. That's what I'm getting from that. I don't know if that makes sense. Know when to fly, when to fly.
Do you think that might be talking about rising sea levels in different parts of the
Yes,
world?
I do. Yes, I do. I was just about to get to that
Okay.
because it almost looks like there's a missing water line here. Like the water is in a low tide, even though I think there's no water in this. I think this is just supposed because it's a snow card. I think this is just a line of snow. But like to me, this looks like low tide, where water is pushed back quite a bit. But it's like this bird has to know when to fly away and to get to more abundant land. In the concerns, I have the Five of Waves, again, the Five of Wands. And this one says flow around adversity. And it's got a bunch of fish swimming around a shark. So the Five of Wands in the traditional tarot is a battle. So in the concerns, there's a there's a concern about, or there's a again current concerns, hope and fears, um, about the flow of water. And in the final position, going back to what Sheraton said, I got the Five of Wands, which is the Five of Pentacles, and the keyword is scarcity. And you can see here it's a complete drought. So I don't know what the water is trying to tell me with all these cards and then ending it with this. But maybe I could pull clarifiers.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, because that is that's something, man. I don't even know. Yeah, that's something. Go ahead.
Spirit, can you tell me about the Five of Wands? Five of Wands, please. I got the Two of Wands. Again, this card is so damaged. I feel so bad. Two of Wands, which is Two of Pentacles. Many paths. So there are ways out of what's to come, but it's in the traditional tarot, it's juggling two coins, right? So if
Yeah, yes.
two paths diverge in the woods, make sure you take the right path. Many paths. The Eight of Clouds, change direction. Yeah, we've got to do something about the climate change crisis. Um, the water is very, very insistent on that. In fact, I'm hearing the ocean crying, if that makes sense. It's not a whale song. It's like I feel like the ocean is. I feel like a heavy burden with the ocean. A burden. Interesting, I said burden. I don't believe in a slip of the tongue. Um, it feels a burden. Oh, the ocean feels a burden because it's responsible for so much life and including our own. And um, well, the six of clouds, the six of cups in this case, wonder, wonder. It's time for us to sit back and realize what we have while we have it. We have we have a we have beautiful ocean. We still have ice caps, believe it or not. And it doesn't if we don't do anything, if we don't change direction, because we have many paths to do so, then our final outcome is going to be a scarcity of water. And I do believe there will be a scarcity of water when it comes to drinking water. I do believe that that will come to be when it comes to clean, um, fresh drinking water. And I think Sheraton's right about the um, the wars it will be the new oil. I do see that as well. Um, Anything else that wants to say? Is the judgment card on the bottom of the deck the deep unknown? Yeah, judgment. Yeah, makes sense. The high priestess, the gift. I mean, the the ocean, the water. It's a gift to for us to experience, for us to have. Um, but again, here we have the four of clouds waiting for rain. We're taking advantage of it. We're taking advantage of it. So that's what I've
Oh,
got.
okay. Well, at the bottom of my deck, I looked because after you were talking, I hadn't put the cards away yet, so I thought I'd have a look. And at the bottom of my deck, I got the King and the Queen of Pentacles, and I also got the Six of Cups. To put that into context, um, I look at this card and it literally just occurred to me, rather than talk about the original meaning of this card, which is about someone who is sensible, someone who's a father, someone who makes wise decisions based on caring and thought and stuff like that. Although, oh crumbs, what have I done with it? I've done something with something. Oh, here we go. Because sometimes it's good to look in the book, you know. I'm not opposed to looking in the book. It's not like I've been reading for the last 20 years, so I look in the book still. So there is something about here about being sensible, being practical, being patient. But there's also a fatherly aspect to it, being a king. and organizations, organizations and security. But you see, one of the it keeps on going through my head. This song keeps on going through my head, and it's by Courtney Pine and For Hero, which is a '90s electronic group, did a mix of one of his tunes, and it's jazz because Courtney Pines is a jazz musician. But the song is I Know Rivers. Um, I can feel it, I can hear it in my mind, and I'm getting chill, well, not chills, but that warm kind of, I don't know how to describe the feeling. I know rivers, rivers, rivers. I'm a terrible singer, so don't ask me to sing. But essentially, there's a feeling when you hear that song, um, that it's like an old man, an older gentleman, a patriarch who's telling you the things that he's seen while he's been in this world, and he knows rivers. And the way he speaks of rivers, it's almost brings to mind when West Africans say, I want to be a river for my people. I know rivers. And that's the feeling the King of Pentacles gives me when I look at that card. It's almost as if it's like it's Poseidon I'm looking at. And he's just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm here, I'm chilled, I'm patient. But there's also the Queen of Pentacles. So you have the feminine and the masculine aspect to the, yeah, and it's all about sensible. Okay, all right, the voluptuous woman. So in a way, it's almost like the Empress card, someone who's fond of good things in life, practical. So it's about being practical. It's about taking a sensible approach and being practical. Because if we're not sensible and practical in the way that we interact with water, then what we're left with is nostalgia, a desire for things to be the way that they used to be, but not currently the way that they are. So, um, yeah, um, it's like saying the water is our mother and our father. That's the feeling I get when I look at that. The water is our mother and our father. And if we're not mindful and sensible, then we will long for days past. We will long for days like today, where we can turn on the tap at will and bathe and clean. We can collect water and it's sitting in the house, and we don't need to use it straight away because we've got access to water, you know. But yeah, but anyway, I was going to pull a final outcome or another card just to find out if Spirit wants us to know, if there's anything else Spirit wants us to know in regards to water. And I decided, because this reading is very esoteric and very metaphysical, this is deep, a deep reading. I think one could almost call it a deep dive, because I was going to break this into two. Yeah, I was going to break this into two. separate shows, but I just thought, you know what, do it. Let's do it one time because it just made sense. So I am in two minds. What do you think, Brett? Should I look at this one, which is Gateway of Light Activation, which is very metaphysical and esoteric, and actually gives you instruction, maybe for finding out how you can connect with water on a deeper level? Or should I go for this one, which is the Oracle of the Seven Energies, which is all about healing and love and and being kind to oneself as well as others. I mean, they're both kind to you, but you know. So I couldn't make up my mind which one to go for. So what do you think, Brett? Which one should I go for?
I'm hearing one of each.
Oh, okay. That's different. All right then. Okay, I think I'm going to end though on the Gateway of Light activation deck simply because it's an activation deck and it might give you some clarity on how you can connect with water. Which sounds so weird because we're always connected with water. But anyway, so I'm going to start with this one, the Oracle of the Seven Energies. I love this Oracle deck. I don't use it that. I only use it for specific things, for healing, having people to get in touch with their inner light so they can heal themselves. Okay, you know what? It told me what card it wants me to pull. It's this card. I don't know if you can see it. Sacred Reverence. This is the card. Okay, and that's from the Oracle of the Seven Energies. Okay, and the one I'm from Gateway of Light Activation. Okay, right. What does Spirit want me to know from this Oracle deck? What message should I end on, or lesson for activation? What was that? One trying to pop out. Well, we'll have a look. Oh, okay. Well, we'll see if it comes out. Okay. What one? Okay. Right. Let's have a look. See. Right. I'm gonna just. Okay. Two wanted to pop out, but I said no. So I looked at both of them and I was like, that's the one. So maybe, you could say I cheated, kind of, but I didn't really. But I kind of, maybe, I don't know. Okay, right. The first one I've got here is Sacred Reverence. Brett, have you managed to pull one or some or however, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think I got everything I needed with my meditation and everything.
Yeah, exactly. You're great when it comes to the meditation thing. It's not my strongest point, although I do have rumination. I don't think rumination is the same though, but whatever. Okay. All right then. Sacred Reverence. That is this card. I don't know. Should I go thingy? Solo. Do you want me to go solo? What do you want me to do?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Let the
cool.
people see it.
All right then. Yeah, that would be sensible. Okay, so there's this card here, Sacred Reverence. Okay, the key concepts are awe for the truth that spirit is everywhere, inspiration coming through you as a result of reverence, joyful living, exploring possibilities with curiosity, spiritual passion manifesting from the starting point of the realm of spirit. Looking at the world, do you see all of life or only a limited part? When you look at a blade of grass, do you just see a plant? When you encounter a puppy, do you just see an animal? While this is categorizing a way of viewing the world, it is only a fraction of the truth. It is not enough. Look closer and you'll observe the luminosity immanent in these living and sentient beings. If you can allow yourself to take in the world, including its spirit, then you see the whole. Reverence is an act of deep witnessing, respect, and awe. You experience it when you perceive every being and everything, every plant, rock, tree, as sacred and alive. You naturally lean into a state of bliss and harmony and a profound sense of well being. Everything has a value. Acknowledge the spiritual, including your most frustrating challenges. So that was from the Oracle of Light. So it's reminding us that there is reverence in everything. Now, from the activation, the gateway of light activation, this should provide us maybe with some guidance, as in things that we can do that will enable us to connect better. Okay, this one is Holy Grail, inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Okay, that's this one, the Holy Grail, finding sacredness, inner discovery. The Holy Grail has been a mystery for thousands of years. Many believe it was the cup that Jesus drank from at the Last Supper, or what was used to collect his blood at the crucifixion, while many others believe that it was a person, possibly Mary Magdalene. It has also been described as a stone, a dish, a cauldron. The energy of this card is strongly related to a physical space, which is the Chalice Well in Glastonbury, southwest England, a sacred garden where many go to connect with the great goddess and discover mysteries within. As a gateway, the Holy Grail is the cup of our heart, which we allow to be filled by source light. So we are overflowing with divine love. The energy that we call into the Holy Grail is the feminine energy of the source. This is why I got the King and Queen of Pentacles. The Shekinah, I don't know if that's the right Shekinah, I don't know. The feminine energy of source, fierce yet graceful light that inspires us to dance to the sacred rhythm of life. This gateway therefore encourages us to stop searching outside of ourselves for truth and go within. Okay, part of our connecting with water is to realize that we are in it, we are part of it, it is a part of us. To connect with the water outside yourself, you must connect with the water inside yourself. In order to connect to this energy, place your hands on your heart space and say this simple prayer. Okay. Dear Source Light, thank you for filling the cup of my heart so I am overflowing with your love. So when you want to connect with water, you can put your hand over your heart or you can hold the cup in your hand and you say, Dear Source, thank you for filling the cup of my heart. Thank you for filling my cup so I am overflowing with your love. That's what you can say to water before you drink it. So that's me. That's me. So I guess that's a
Nice.
good note to end on, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That was fabulous.
yeah,
I like how
yeah.
how varied the readings were. If that makes sense, we got
Absolutely.
a lot of different aspects.
Yeah, yeah, we really did. We really did.
Water's got a lot to say. Water's a if you ever tune into it or meditate on it, it's a very, very potent energy, and it makes sense because there's more water than there is land on Earth, so it makes
Yeah,
sense. And the strength of it and the waves and everything. Of course, it makes sense that it's a very powerful energy to tap into.
absolutely. The water is outside us and it is within us. And
Yes.
it has been here from the very beginning. So it's got a lot to say. Oh, well, that was a deep dive, wasn't it? I should really
We,
title this video a deep dive into water. Okay. All right. Well,
apropos.
yeah. All right. Well, good night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Whatever
Thank you.
time you see us, uh, I would say, Brett, do you want to do your thing and where people can find you?
Um,
Because you've got some videos coming
yes,
up soon, haven't you? Yeah, you have.
I sure do. I've got some videos on some forbidden topics that that we'll have a look at. So check me out on Brett Valdez on YouTube. Um, Also, well, I mean, I have Twitter and Instagram, but I don't use them really. But yeah, you can check me out on there. I have past readings on there that you can watch, and then as Sheraton said, I have some coming up scheduled. So keep an eye out for those. And Sheraton, you're accepting clients, I believe.
Actually, at the moment, I'm having a little minor break right now. But yeah, I mean, if somebody wants a reading with me, all they have to do is email me. And my email is showintheends@gmail.com.
Yep, it's right there
I
on the
will,
screen.
yeah. Oh, sugar. Should I do that thing on the screen? Have I got a thing imaging on the screen? I don't know. Have I?
No, I mean in your
Uh,
name it says show in the ends.
oh, well, I don't know. I have no idea. It's been such a long time since I've done any videos that I can barely manage to do anything. Anyhow, I had a banner. I swear I had a banner. Did I have a banner? Oh, here we
You got
go.
a thumbnail. There you
Ah,
go.
there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Yeah. So if you want a reading, yeah, you can email me at the show in the end, and I can take a booking. But right now, at this moment in time, especially for the month of June, I'm not sure if I'm going to really be doing any personal readings for the month of June. Maybe in August, but right now, I'm not too sure. So if somebody does want to skip schedule a reading with me. I might do it, might not do it, but I'll probably do it if you want to. But yeah. Um Apart from that, yeah, because it's coming up to the anniversary of my dad's passing. I'm gonna make a separate reading, a separate uh video on that to say what I want to say regarding that. But yeah, these last 12 months have been a lot. So that's part of the reason why you haven't really seen me on here. But yeah, and apart from all of that, um, yeah, I should really call this a deep dive because it's been like 2 hours. But
And deep dive.
anyway, go on.
Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Turn on notifications so you know when Sheraton's live or uploads a video.
Yeah. You see, this is why I need Brett here because I would have just been like, yeah, laters, I'm out. But Brett kind of just completely forgot to do all of that. Yeah.
No,
Please like.
subscribe because she's got some naughty readings up ahead too. So don't let her fool you. It's not just me.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. I suppose I probably have. Yes, do that. And yes, as I would like to say, as my outro, which those of you who've watched me before know, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And thank you so much for joining us, whatever time you watch this. Ta-ta.